Welcome to America's Commercial Real Estate Show, your source for market intelligence, forecast, and success strategies. I'm Michael Bull. Thanks for being with us. Well, our segment today is brought to you by Plum Lending, online commercial real estate loans from $1 to $25 million, right? You have to visit their website. It's getyourplumloan.com. Well, we have an incredible show for you today. We're going to discuss Viewpoint, the 2017 Commercial Real Estate Trends Report put out by Integra Realty Resources. This is an incredible publication, and we have the authors right here. We're going to talk about it. Please welcome my guest, Hugh Kelly. Hugh is principal with Hugh Kelly Real Estate Economics. Hugh, thanks for being with us again.
Glad to be here again, Michael. It's always a pleasure.
And we also always love having you on the show. And Anthony Graziano, he's commercial real estate expert, and I love that title, with Integra Realty Resources.
Thank you, Michael.
Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit, guys, about Viewpoint. What is this report? What it's all about, and why do you guys do it?
Sure. So our firm, Integra Realty Resources, we have 59 offices throughout the United States, primarily specializing in commercial real estate appraisal, consulting, litigation, market studies. We've been publishing this publication now for over 20 years. So we have time series analysis and analytics on investment rates of most commercial real estate asset classes throughout the United States on a 20-year time series. So
you've been doing it for 20 years?
Yeah.
Excellent. And how'd you get Hugh Kelly involved?
Well, we got Hugh involved last year. We've been really tracking the analytics at the local level for some time, but the big challenge for us was really to wrap the economic context. And with so many important economic factors happening, I've been friends with Hugh for many, many years. He was actually my professor at NYU Shack Institute back in the 90s. I've known him for a very long time, and we approached him and asked Hugh if he could add the macroeconomic flavor that we really wanted to convey in the message.
And for me, it was a great opportunity. I just come off doing the research on emerging trends in real estate for ULI and PwC, and this added another dimension of data for me to look at and to kind of think about in a period of time when the economy was in tremendous flux and is in tremendous flux. So, we're all data guys. Yeah. And the more smart information we can gather from around the country, the better.
Well, that's great. Well, and I think everyone is searching for what's going to happen moving forward. We have a lot of things going on, like you mentioned. We have a new president shaking things up, right? We have interest rates starting to increase, and we've had them so low for so long. So where are we in the economy, and what's that mean for commercial real estate moving forward?
Well, I mean, look, we hope we have a real estate president, right? I mean, at least we have a president that represents the industry in that regard. But policy is one element. Being able to get it done, we think, is another. We certainly see the effects in the first few months of the economy adapting and adjusting to the new president's at least initiatives and ideas. The question is, will that hold, and can he translate that into policy and signed law? Because ultimately, that's what the market will react to, is when these policies are implemented and funded. Yet to be seen. It's still pretty early in the cycle.
So the jury's still out, but overall, Trump presidency, good for economy, good for commercial real estate?
It's a timing issue. Yeah. In the short run, as Tony said, if this translates into signed law, lesser regulations, lower taxes, all the things that have been part of here, boost the economy in the short run. It's a stimulus program. It's very Keynesian, to use economic jargon. The problem is that it's being implemented at exactly the wrong time. The Reagan stimulus, when we were in the recessions of the early 1980s, the Bush stimulus after the dot-com bubble bust, the Obama stimulus in 2009 were all well-timed to try and push an economy that was in trouble out of the hole. Now we have stimulative measures at a time when the unemployment rate is below 5%, and we've been growing about 2 million jobs a year. That to me means inflation. That to me means asset pricing bubbles, and that to me means rising interest rates on the part of the Fed and accelerating the timing of a recession from 2020 roughly back to 2018 or so.
Okay, and to use a word that you used in the report, should we all be Twitter-pated by what Trump's doing?
Look, my economist tells me right idea, wrong time. But I think the flip side of the coin is that a lot of this election was also about the non-tier one markets, the non-coastal cities, really reacting to where they felt we were in the economy, and they don't feel the love of the economy. It's been a very uneven economic recovery. It's favored the tier one urban markets, but the majority of the country gets to vote for the president. I think a lot of the frustration is that our Rust Belt cities need stimulus. Our core economic manufacturing base needs stimulus. There's a lot of frustration in terms of the segregation of employment and who's really benefiting from this recovery. And of course, we really turned on a dime because right up to the night of the election, I think everybody was planning their real estate strategy heading into 2017, expecting a much different outcome. Right. And the result is that a lot of this activity and a lot of this flipping that's happened since the known outcome of the election has been people really reevaluating their strategy. Yeah. So a lot of the things that we wrote about as we began to compile this, we wrote in October and November and December leading up to 2017. But I do agree with you on this one point, which is it needs to be measured stimulus, or we risk pushing ourselves over the edge on the economy.
Well, at least he agrees with you on one point, Hugh.
Or 3 or 4.
So we'll have the link to this report, and I read it. It's incredibly well done, gentlemen. I was really impressed with it. So we'll have the link on the show website. And one of the things that as you talk about the economy, in the past, housing has taken us out of slumps and helped us. And we've kind of had a little bit of a slow-moving economy, it seems like, on housing. A lot of, I guess, the values have come back. But now we have interest rates rising. So what's that going to do to housing? And it's one of the sections you guys have in the report.
Sure. I mean, one of the very interesting things in this housing recovery is that it's predominantly been driven by multifamily development. We look, Integra Realty Resources views multifamily development as a commercial asset class because it's income producing and it's purchased by institutional investors. But we track it in regards to the entire housing market. What's remarkable is we've been underproducing housing really since the last recession, historically over our run rate, national run rate. But of the production we've had, it's primarily been in the multifamily sector. The single-family new construction market has really yet to come back to any level of measurable pace that matters. But we've now reached a point in the cycle where the residential single-family homes are back building. The question is, with rising interest rates, does that slow, and does that slow the market? I think that probably takes 6 to 9 months to work its way into the market.
Yeah. We need to keep things in context too. Rates are rising, but they're rising from historically very, very low levels. Yeah. And the affordability of housing at a mortgage rate sub 6% is still pretty good. I speak that from a guy whose first mortgage was at 12.5. So it looks pretty good to me. The interesting thing, though, is to watch how the flood of capital has flown into multifamily. When you talk about where are we in terms of the economy, last year in 2016, all of the other property types that were commercially invested in pulled back from their peaks of 2015, and I thought that was a good thing because it reduced the pressure of price inflation somewhat. In the last 4 or 5 months, we've begun to see multifamily joining in that. In the last 3 months, multifamily investment volumes are down in the double digits. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. It means that we're not necessarily just having capital chase any product, that there's some discipline and that the underwriting standards are being implemented in a way I think that ultimately will serve us in good stead.
Yeah, and we're going to have to take a short break. When we get back, I want to ask you also about rising interest rates and their impact on the multifamily world, because we've seen rental rates and occupancy gains start to slow down there, and I think that's why some investors are getting less interested. Maybe they think we're overbuilding. But if interest rates rise and more of these first-time home buyers came by, I'm curious on your opinion there. And then you've got some great information in the report on the velocity of the market and the foreign investors. And I want to get to that because one thing I think a lot of our listeners and viewers are curious about, is it time to buy? or is it time to sell based on what's going on in the economy, what's going on in the market, what's going on with Trump? So stay with us. We get back, we'll ask the real estate expert and you, Kelly, about that key question. I'm Michael Bull. This is America's Commercial Real Estate Show. Stay with us. Hey there, thanks for checking out the Commercial Real Estate Show. Don't miss a video of special interest to you. Be sure to subscribe below. And if you appreciate the videos, be sure and thank our sponsors. There's a link to more information about them in the description. For more videos, podcasts, and articles, check out creshow.com.